forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts. We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Merrily we roll along.
Rob, we are rolling. Rolling with Rob.
Rolling with Rob.
Do you know, funnily enough, when I lived in America,
We've barely been talking a second, and the power play from Ashley Jensen in casually mentioning, oh yeah, I used to work in America.
when we used to sit around and do the table reads for the beginning of Ugly Betty, we used to go, hi, my name is America Ferrera and I'm playing Betty. And you'd get a round of applause for saying your name.
No.
Hi, I'm Ashley Jensen and I'm playing Christina McKinney. Ray! Get a round of applause just for saying your name.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to change how we do things around here. Because I think that could be the thing that would set me up for the day.
I know. Well, it is. It's quite affirming, isn't it?
And you were over there for Ugly Betty.
Hmm.
I mean, you mentioned America Ferrera. Of course, she was in the
Ferrera.
Barbie movie. So was I.
Yes. He's throwing it about now.
We're not going to bang on about me being in the biggest film in the world because we're not. It's not about that, Ashley. Please let it go.
I did love seeing you in that. I have to say, I loved it.
Let's take 15 to 20 minutes just to talk about that then.
I couldn't quite put my head around the fact that you were there, which was a little bit like I felt in Ugly Betty when I first got there.
Yeah.
I looked at myself and I went, how did I get into that big glossy thing?
I've seen my appearance in it described as a jump scare. A jump scare.
Who were you again?
I was, well, he used to be called Sugar Daddy Ken, and they're about to release a doll of him, or they may have done. And he's called Sugar's Daddy Ken, because the line, as I'm sure you'll remember, is America Ferrera says, Sugar Daddy Ken? And I say, no. I improvised that bit. No.
And they let you?
Yeah, me and Greta. I went, no. I'm not a sugar daddy. That's my first bit, okay? And we're already now halfway through my performance. I say, this is Sugar, I'm holding the dog, and I'm her daddy. That's it.
And that was it.
You've brought up Ugly Betty very early on. I was going to lead with Shetland, but let's stay with it for a while. I didn't realise. We're talking to Ashley Jensen, by the way. I mean, this is exciting because we've not seen each other for a bit. We did a big thing together years ago. We'll come on to that. I didn't know that when you went out there, number one, you got the job. You were on holiday, I read, and then you had the audition.
Well, no, I was on holiday and I auditioned for something else because it was just not long after Extras come out and everyone was very excited about that. And I had a few meetings when I was out there. An agent put me up for a job that was called The Class with David Crane had written it, who'd written Friends.
Yeah.
And they thought this was going to be the new Friends. So, of course, I was like, oh, Christ, all right, okay. So, did it, didn't get it. And kind of, I wasn't really that bothered about it, to be honest. And then went home after my holidays. And then I got a call to come back again, but for a different part. Still didn't get that part.
So it's in the same David Crane show, right?
David Crane show. Maybe it was because the next good thing was coming to me. And where's The Class now? You know?
Well, you're quite right.
But I hung about and I thought, you know what? I'm Scottish. They've paid me to come out here for a pilot season. I'll hang about. I've basically got a free ticket over for pilot season. So that was
the I'm Scottish bit of that is I've got a free journey out here.
Pretty much.
Is that
pretty
right?
much, yes. So I stayed out there and had quite a few meetings, one of which was Ugly Betty. And there were a lot of scripts that I read at that time that were kind of trying to be the next Friends. But then this Ugly Betty script came and it was like a wee gem in the middle of a lot of things that were very, very similar. And so went up for that and got it.
How many seasons did you do?
I think I did 3, but I think at that point I was a bit like, I felt like I wanted to do something else. So I chose to leave.
Oh.
And people were like, why? But you know what, Rob, I thought I wasn't used enough in it
Right.
for it to be creatively appealing to
Yeah,
me by
yeah,
the end.
yeah.
Once I'd kind of got over, look at me in a big glossy shiny show
Yeah.
from a wee town in Scotland.
How long was that a nice feeling for?
It was a good couple of years, I have to say. Although although I did have my own wee battle with LA. I did, like I said, I did always feel a little bit like, kind of like square peg in a round hole, really.
Yeah. One of your first things ever, was it the
Yeah.
very first thing you did?
It wasn't the very first thing. That was girl one.
Was acting with Billy Connolly.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Wow. I mean, that was way back in the early 90s. And it was a thing called Down Among the Big Boys. In
Right.
fact, weirdly enough, Dougie Henschel was also in it.
Was he?
Yes. And I was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Billy Connolly was my father in it.
Tell me about Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly, yes. One of my strongest memories was when I was about to marry Dougie Henschel's character. He was my dad. He was about to walk me down the aisle, and we were in a graveyard outside this church. And I mean, you could just, he's such a raconteur, and he's just, his tales, he's just funny. I started going on about the fact that I'd been in the Girl Guides, and he loved this.
Really?
And the fact that I was quite an ambitious girl guide. And I was like, my whole kind of reason of being in the guides was to get as many badges as I could. And nobody was bothered. The girls were just there to kind of arse about a bit and do a sausage sizzle down the beach and, you know, just mess around. But I was like, but look, you can get all these badges. And you could get, like, from the obviously usual ones like the cookery badge or the entertainer's badge, or, you know, the kind of boring ones.
You got that, didn't you? You got the entertainer's badge.
I did.
Yeah.
But you could also get things like the firefighter badge, the milkmaid badge. Now, this was the one that tickled Billy.
All right.
The milkmaid badge. My friend had a farm. She lived in a farm. I had a farm. Can't remember. We used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go milk the cows.
Did you?
Yeah. And we used to have to put the suckers.
Sure you did.
The suckers
There's
on
our trailer.
The suckers on the cows and milk them.
All right.
With the machine
Easy.
Milk.
Yeah.
It's
2023,
hey,
Ashley. Come on.
Rob.
Times have changed.
Yep. It's not the old
Since
days.
last we.
Yeah.
Oh, old Wogan's
Trod
coming
the board,
in. Since
trod
last
the
we
boards. Oh.
spent a while together. Ashley Jensen. So he was what you'd hope.
He was everything that I'd hoped for. And I just sat and listened to him. But I remember at the end of the day, I phoned my mum and I went, Mum, I made Billy Connolly laugh. I was making him laugh. I was telling him about my badges and the guides and he was laughing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Billy Connolly. We're jumping around here. The main reason for your visit here today is to talk about Shetland. Now, Shetland is a very well established show.
Yes.
But there's a new broom in the cupboard. There's a new knife in the drawer.
There is.
There's a new. Isn't there?
There is a new.
Because you have come into this show. Shooting up there, literally in Shetland. It's not done in Acton in front of green screens.
No, but some of it is shot in Glasgow. We do 3 weeks in Shetland, then 6 weeks in Glasgow, and then the second 3 episodes are shot again 3 weeks in Shetland, and then another 6 weeks in Glasgow. There is a little bit of cheating where we go outside of Glasgow to emulate. And
what's it like filming in Shetland? I've never been there.
I had never been.
Had you not?
No. I mean, what's odd is that, I mean, I don't know, did you go around Wales a lot when you were growing up? Did you?
Of course, yeah. I know.
You did?
Yeah. No, I'm going to say I know what you're saying, that perhaps you don't always know your own country.
No.
I've seen much more of Wales now as an adult than I ever did when I was younger.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that was very similar for me, apart from when I would do like tours where you would like tour village halls in the middle of nowhere in the back of a white van.
Is that how you began?
It was, yeah.
Touring in what theatre and education?
It wasn't theatre and education, but it was like theatres and village halls.
When I read about you deciding to come back from America, that resonated with me. I think I read you saying something that you feel you've ticked that box.
Yeah. I mean, I never intended to go to America.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I loved Frank Spencer. That was why I wanted to be an actor. The Good Life, Dad's Army.
Yeah.
I loved
What about Stan Laurel? Because I
Love Stan Laurel.
I see that and a bit of Frank Spencer in your role in Extras.
Yes.
You do so much lovely deadpan stuff in that.
Yes, and all the Stan and Oliver, Laurel and Hardy.
They obviously mean a lot to you.
Charlie Chaplin and physical comedy from back in the day. I love physical comedy.
So Extras was a great platform for you then, wasn't it? If you love that kind of thing. Because so often Maggie would do great kind of looks.
In fact, sometimes the only direction that Ricky would give me, he would shout from the monitor, "More Stan!"
Oh, really? Really? It was that explicit, right?
Well, he hadn't so much as said that to me, but then we kind of realised that we were almost doing a kind of
because he loves that as well.
He does.
You see that in The Office. You know,
Yeah.
some of his looks you can tell, and I think he said it. That there's a real influence there,
and that relationship was quite kind of Laurel and Hardy, wasn't it? The kind of I'm just going to have to take my jumper off.
That's the Brydon effect. Now look how floral you are. Oh, it's the Chelsea Flower Show.
You see, I layered up because sometimes you can be in these little studios and you can be quite cold.
Yeah.
So I had to have jumpers.
Now a totally different vibe now.
Is it?
I read in these notes that you were a voice in The Office.
Yes, I've read that too, but I've also read that my age is wrong on IMDb. Where I was born is wrong on IMDb.
So you had nothing...
I don't have the middle name that they say I have public. There's lots of things that are written that are... And I was never in The Office.
So where did the connection with Ricky and Stephen come from?
I had no connection with Ricky and Stephen at all.
How did you end up in Extras?
I read with a producer, and almost by the time I'd got to the tube station, my agent called and said, right, you're in tomorrow with Ricky and Steve.
Oh, how lovely.
Which was lovely.
Oh. You skipped down to the tube platform, didn't you?
Did.
Like Billy Connolly, skipping down.
Yes.
Here I am.
So,
but then you know that the next day
was
you're
with
going
the big
in.
guns. And I mean, at that time, Ricky and Steve, particularly Ricky, because he was the face of the office, they were huge.
Yes,
they were so huge.
Yeah.
So, people always say to me, were you starstruck when you did Extras? I mean, I wouldn't say this to Ricky, but I was kind of more starstruck by meeting Ricky for the first time than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then, indeed, when I got the job, I was more concerned with not letting him down. So went in the next day and met the two of them and did... What scene was it? I can't remember what scene it was, but I remember him scatting slightly off the script.
Yeah.
And I kind of went with him a little bit, and then we came back to it. So I suppose in some ways he was maybe seeing, is she able to kind of do that and bring it back?
Yeah.
Or would I go, oh, is that not? I've not learned this. This bit's not in the script. You know, which some actors may have done.
It's not on the page. It's not fair because it's not on the page. Well, I'm sorry, but no. No, I'm sorry.
What's he doing? Is he going to do it like that?
Is he going to do it like that? So you go in now and he goes off script and you keep up with him. What happened then?
And then I went home and again, I got a call saying they're going to send another scene, probably by fax or carrier pigeon, because this was back in the day.
So when did you find out you got it?
A few days later, I believe. So I didn't have too long, maybe like a weekend or something. I know.
So then you know that your next project is the follow-up to The Office.
Yes. The pressure was not kind of necessarily, ooh, Kate Winslet, ooh, Sam Jackson, Les Dennis.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. It was...
He seems to be one of the nicest people on the face of the earth.
He's delightful. He's so... Samuel L. Jackson. Les Dennis is lovely.
I've only met him briefly, but he seems to be just a really nice guy.
He is a really nice man. He really was. They all were. They were all lovely, I have to say.
Stephen Merchant I've found to be a very... What's the nasty piece of work?
Oh, yes.
And he covers it with that sort of, you know, I'm from the West Country.
Doesn't he talk fast, though? Because this podcast world's all quite new to me.
Oh, you were saying before we started rolling.
This is my first cast of the pod, as it were.
Is it?
Ever, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, I've
I'm rather flattered.
Yeah, you've taken my podcast cherry.
Now, Ashely, this is what we talked about last night in our texting. I said, things have moved on, and you and I can't have the gay repartee that perhaps we might have indulged in. I don't want to come on to us yet, and there is an us. I don't want to come on to us
There is
yet.
an us.
I want to carry on now with Merchant and Gervais.
But yes, listening to him on his podcast, he talks so fast.
Well, you know, he's very tall. He's the words are further to tumble, don't they?
Yes, that's true.
I adore Stephen. Such a nice guy. You mentioned the guests that they had on Extras, and at the time, people went, wow, that's big, and they still stands up now.
Well, it had never been done before.
Huge people.
Well, the first one was Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
And we'd managed to get a day's filming before the principal photography was started because he was here to promote Snakes on a Plane. So
I did a Welsh version of that, Cats in a Taxi. I mean, it didn't have quite the same chilling effect as Sam's film, but, you know, it's found a niche. Anyway, sorry, go on, yes.
So he walked on the set with an inordinately large pair of shoes on that were really pointy. And I don't know whether they were slightly too big for him, but the laces were undone. And the silence was absolutely deafening. It was like this god had walked on to the set. And it was almost as, I mean, of course they didn't. It was almost as though everyone stood and was doing a 3-minute silence with their head bowed when this legend walked in. And all you could hear was, and that was like his shoes were squeaking. And he just stood there with his amazing smile and just beamed round at everyone, looked at everyone with this confidence.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just bent down and he tied his shoelace, and Ricky went, oh, he only does his own shoelaces with this laugh that he does. And then, of course, like the atmosphere is like, everybody's like, oh, that's fine, we're all right, we're okay. And then I had to tell him how wonderful he was in The Matrix as my first scene.
David Bowie.
The day that we did that, he's a more magnetic human being you could not hope to find. But again, had this smile that just lit up a room, and he was just, and he looked at everyone, and he looked at everyone in the eye, and when he looked at you, you were thinking,
David Bowie's looking at me.
You did. It was just like that. And it was like, oh, it was Ziggy Stardust and all the iconic pictures. And he looked so kind of, you know, that kind of really, really beautifully kind of interesting, handsome man that he was. Like yourself, Rob. I feel the same when I look at you, when you look at me.
To a degree.
Yeah.
And Daniel Radcliffe, Kate Winslet, Ben Stiller. I met. Big fan of Ben Stiller.
After in LA.
Yeah.
When I was walking my dog, I saw him approach with his small boy, and I had a big dog at the time. Not a golden retriever dog. This was a big dog that kind of looked a bit like a big blonde wolf. So he was quite serious sized dog, and I was a bit like, oh God, I could see him kind of giving me a bit of a wide berth, this woman with this dog that was almost as big as her. And I thought, oh, I'll say hello. He went, hi Ben, hello, how are you? He kind of went, hi, how are you? And he kind of tried to shuffle past me
because he didn't recognize
you. He didn't recognize me. And then I went, Ben, it's Ashley Jensen here from Extras. And he went, oh my God, hi. Sorry, I didn't recognize you without the bullet hole in my head. I really, really want to talk about the wee man in the box.
You're the second. Yesterday, I went to watch my son play football. And it was the first time I would take Mabel. So my wife was already there. So I'm walking. It's not easy. He wants to go here and I'm walking from there. And the bloke comes by, one of the dads watching another team. And he does this. He just goes, ha! Man in a box! That was it. So I gave this response. I went, ha ha ha, like that.
And did you not give him the man in the box?
Well, no, he was walking. I was walking. But what am I supposed to say to that?
Yeah, good point.
That's right. That's something I do.
That's something. This is some of
Man in the box, yes. What about him?
Frankie and I have conversations about Man in the Box. In fact, one of his questions was, why is he always American? Are there other men in the box?
Why is he always doing it? What you going to say? Is he so devoid of inspiration?
Can he do anything else? Can there be different men in the box?
Well, yeah, you can. You can
Are
do
there a
different,
lot of them in there?
Well, so it basically goes on.
That is almost dizzying, Rob.
Okay.
I'd forgotten how wonderful
Did
it
I
is.
do it when we were doing the theatre together? Of
Yes,
course I did,
of course
every
you
day.
did, yeah.
I can give him another voice. I can go,
Right, how do you physically do it?
okay. Hello and welcome to An Actor's Craft. Ashley Jensen, soon to be seen in Shetland, has joined us. And we're talking about voice work. Well, Ashley, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You go to the back of the throat, the soft tissue at the back of the throat. So let's see, Ashley. Ashley's clearing her throat. Let's see if you can just go. Let's try that again. You look like Ricky then. You went like this. You went like this. Look, Ashley, you went.
I really want to learn this, though.
I'm trying to teach
I think
you.
I'm maybe going to be hysterical, Rob. I'm too excited.
Let's try. I'm willing to teach you,
So what?
but are you ready to learn?
Oh, gosh, right.
Okay.
I can't.
Of course you can.
Oh.
All right. Think about it like a
Right.
ventriloquist. See, I came across it
Okay,
because I was
right.
thinking of ventriloquists. And a ventriloquist would go, "How are you today, Archie?" And that's
that
the
it?
beginning. That's the beginning of the journey. You're pushing it back. You're making the little opening smaller. You're getting there. Open your mouth. Right. And then you've got to manipulate the soft palate and the soft stuff. So it goes, if you'd stop now, please.
Okay.
So it goes. Hi there, how are you doing today? Really good, thank you. Nice to see you. Now, my tongue is moving, but it's mostly the back of the throat.
Hey there. Hey there, Rob. How are you doing?
Are
I'm
you
not
an
really-
asthmatic? Do you have your inhaler with you?
Oh, dear me. Do you know what? There was a moment on Extras when I was talking to the little boy about Operation. Do you remember that
The
scene?
game, yeah.
And I got so hysterical. This is a little reminiscent of that. And I literally couldn't pull myself together. And I literally had to walk around the whole studio.
There were
And
lots of laughs on that because Ricky is
Oh.
famous for his
Well,
aha and all that stuff.
Sometimes that would just be the whole point of a scene with Ricky, and he would be like, he was like a naughty child, and he would just try and make me laugh. And Steve would go, "Oh, right, Rick, come on. You're only making her laugh. It's your show. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's breakfast. You're going to miss lunch." And that was almost the
That's
only
great.
thing that could rein
That's
him in
great.
was the fact that he might
I'm not a
miss his
big
lunch.
giggler, you see. I
You take your craft seriously.
no, you've worked with me.
Listen, I remember you when we did the play together,
Finally we get to this.
which was an Alan Ayckbourn at the Pinter Theatre.
Ashley Jensen and Rob Brydon appearing in Chorus of Disapproval at the Harold Pinter Theatre. Tickets available.
In 2012.
In 2012. This is a while. You have to go, we got to go back.
You got to go back in
Marty,
time.
we got to go back. Oh, I'm doing Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Yeah, that was great fun, wasn't it?
Well, do you know?
Oh, was it not? Oh, no, I enjoyed
what
it.
I was going to talk about you about was when you literally just broke the fourth wall and started talking to the audience.
I don't remember this.
Do you remember that?
No, not when? What? What do you
You
mean?
had a wee moment, and you just kind of, and of course
Oh,
the
it was
audience
4 months.
loved
It
the
was 4
audience
months.
loved
I mean,
it.
that's a
Yeah.
lot to endure. I mean,
Well, I found that tricky because I, unlike yourself and Nigel Harmon,
Nigel was in it, Mr. Dancer. Nigel Harmon, who was in A Chorus of Disapproval. He played the bloke who cuckolded me with you.
yes, because we were husband and wife, but I lost my voice. I think, see, the other thing I
Nigel lost his voice. He
he-
was off for days on end.
But do you remember Rob Compton came on?
Yes.
And he played Nigel, didn't he?
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
And he was too shy to
But
come.
he was half my
He was
age.
too shy to come down to the front of the stage for a scene with me, bless him. So
Oh.
without realising, he was
upstaging
upstaging me.
you, I know.
Just out of deference, because I could tell he was such a sweet kid.
Yeah.
And so I kept having to turn my back to the audience. So I was improvising, going, come on now, don't you worry now, you come here, don't be shy now, come on. And I'd have to pull him down and bring him round.
He's in a Christmas Carol at
Yes,
the,
I know
the
he is.
Vic, isn't he?
I know he is. He sent me a thing saying, come and see it.
He sent one to me too.
I said, Rob, I've seen it twice already. I can't watch it for a third time. I'm sorry. It's great. First thing Ashley said when she came in today was to remind me how long ago it was that we did this play. And if you'd asked me, I'd have said 7 years, 8 years.
12. No, 11.
11 years
Yeah.
since we did it. Time is...
12 years. Sorry, it is 12. It was
Is it?
2012.
Is it?
Yeah. No. 11.
Ashley Jensen, I say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's not let it be 11 years again.
Let's not.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I've been trying to say goodbye. I've got to work on that, Rob.
That was better.
Was it? Was
that
it?
was better than it was.
I'm going to practice.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
The consummate professional. Wee man in a box.
Available for bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, and weddings.
And any accent you wish.
Hey.
Can you do a tiny Scottish man in a box?
Why do they do that? I don't know. How can it be? I'm trying to do a wee Billy Connolly. I don't know. What is it about them? I don't know.
Like it.
It was not bad.